the meeting. 6:33. All right, we'll go with the minutes first. Everyone have a chance to review it.
Move their adoption.
Second.
Discussion?
I have one comment on the end of the minutes, just before it says adjourn. The Commissioner Ailes inquired about the trust action. I think it should be antitrust action.
Okay. We make that correction?
Yep, I'll take care of it.
Okay. Any other changes, corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Abstain.
Opposed? Okay. Who is that, Linda?
Yes.
Okay, we'll make note of that. It's passed. Okay. We have here, after it's taken some time, the review for the mandatory CE course review. So this is for 24-26. So it's come, actually, Amy Berquist was on the meeting, as part of it. Myself and Sharon and Lana was also part of the committee. So there was a lot of work involved by the committee. I mean, I think it's going to be a good course. So has everybody had a chance? I know it was thick. There was a lot to look at. Any questions regarding the course?
Looked very good to me, very impressive. I like the graphics too.
Peter, I think were you going to say something, Peter?
No, I'm listening.
Okay. Does anybody have any objections?
There's one clarification I'm hoping we can get. So the general rule or regulation for CE courses is that they are allowed to be asynchronous. We just need to clarify whether or not the commission is permitting that for the mandatory course.
I can't recall what we discussed on that, if we're allowing that. I don't believe we were on the mandatory course. I'd like to get this approved and get that cleared up. We'll have clarification on that. Because I don't want to wait till December. for this
Yeah,
to
no,
come.
it's a decision that's up to this commission. So you can
Yeah.
you can decide either way.
I don't feel in the mandatory course myself that it should be.
I'm in agreement with Ben. This is Sharon.
Chairman was also on the committee.
Now, I have a question about that. So live virtual is not asynchronous, but something like the CE shop, is that considered asynchronous or keep me certified?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to the particular schools, but I mean, asynchronous just means people can take it on their own schedule. But yeah, live virtual is definitely permitted.
Sharon,
But
did we
there are, I
discuss-
mean, there are rules around asynchronous, you know, they are limited to, you know, like the school must ensure that the student has to spend the entire amount of time. They can't, you know, breeze through it, that kind of thing. So there are restrictions around asynchronous that obviously we apply to all of the other CE courses.
I don't believe it should be. Sharon agrees with me. Anybody else? I mean, that doesn't agree?
I see Jill's hand is up.
Jill?
The the mandatory course is the format of this course is meant to be taught live because there's a lot of interaction. Because if you can just read through the course very quickly and get through in an hour probably or less. There are some schools like the CE Shop and McKissick and Keep Me Certified who take these courses and they get them approved through Arello. They go through a higher level, and then that course can be asynchronous. So it's just a matter of that was done last cycle. So it's
Jill,
another
does
step for them.
Does that mean, so does that mean that even if we today decide that it can only be taught live or live virtual, if it's Arello approved, does that mean that it can then be taught asynchronous okay. All right.
No,
So
it doesn't. It
Well-
does not. If you determine as a commission it cannot be asynchronous, then they can't do anything to make it asynchronous.
Jason, I couldn't hear you. You cut out.
If you as a commission decide that it cannot be asynchronous, then there's nothing they can do to make it asynchronous.
All right. So I move that we only allow this live or live virtual.
Second,
More discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Oppose? Okay. So it's going to, we agreed that it should not be allowed asynchronous. Okay. Now let's make a motion of accepting the course.
I move that we
24.
accept the course.
Yeah,
Second,
need a second. Who's second it?
Sharon.
Sharon, okay. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
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 Oppose? Accepted. Okay. While we're on there, Jason gave us this little graph here regarding case processing. Numbers look going the other way, which is good, but this really doesn't give us the information that we're looking for as to what are the problems and are they consistent? Jason?
I mean, the case types are really all over the map. There a huge chunk of them are CAM related. But I know Jill, I don't know if you want to, or Mimi want to speak to, certain types of cases you're seeing, if you're seeing them trend in one direction or another.
Jason, let me just say that regarding CAM, I remember for years and years and years, I never even heard of the word CAM. All of a sudden, this is mushroomed, unbelievable. And what's stirring this all up? I
don't know.
And it seems like the last few years. I mean, I don't remember ever talking about CAM.
I mean, it may just be
It
better
seems like when Peter came on the commission, all this problem started.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
I mean, it may be better enforcement. It may also be something around the change of the license. It used to be that a company could be licensed as a CAM, and then everyone that worked under that company was, basically covered by that. Now only individual people can be CAMs. So there's a lot of people who were probably working before under a company that never went ahead and got their personal license. And we're just kind of finding all those people. I don't know
You
if
know what?
Jill and Mimi, if that kind of is what you're seeing as well.
Well, Ben, the other thing is, the area that a CAM covers has grown quite a bit in the last 20 years. We didn't have 55 and over. We didn't have senior housing. We just had, condominiums and some co-ops. So that part of the market has really grown. And even, planned unit developments are in that, anything with a homeowners association. And a lot of it is disgruntled owners that I have a leak and they bring it to the attention and it doesn't get looked at, and then 2 months go by and now we have damaged sheetrock. We have it depends on who your CAM is. I believe that's the important thing. It's the expertise they have and the way they run their operation, because a lot of times it's the same people over and over, but there's not a lot of teeth in the law to have it really falls back on the homeowners association. A lot of these things. Peter can probably speak to it too, because he is a CAM.
Well, it's interesting. So in the state of Connecticut, there's fewer than 312 licensed CAMs. I don't know how many brokers and salespersons, but it's got to be in the many thousands.
30,000.
30,000 compared to 300. So, it's a very small number of CAMs, but that is true that as soon as someone's upset with the board, they don't like the board's decision, they complain about the CAM. If maintenance isn't, if the common fees are high, the maintenance isn't, anything that isn't getting done, even though the board decides it, they complain about the CAM. So why recently? I don't know. Why recently? It's also frustrating that not all people who are acting effectively as a CAM are licensed as a CAM. So the good news is that more and more people, just a few years ago, the number of licensed CAMs was half. So the fact that we've doubled it, these are more people who are trying to comply, who at least we can regulate to some extent. So it's an improvement to my mind.
It seems like, first of all, I think active adult, which is increased, but that started, by the way, in the 90s. In the early 90s. Time flies, Jill.
I know.
But, it's grown a lot. But our main concern, though, is about funds. We had a few. The problems that we did have was that somebody would just end up managing and then take off with the funds. Has that been an issue?
Hi, Ben, it's Mimi.
Yeah.
I've had some few cases, a handful of cases actually related to the issue that you just brought up. And, it's still under investigation. It's still open cases, so I can't speak on it too much. But yes, that absolutely exists. Yesterday, Jason, Jill, and I had a meeting, and we were, Jill and I did some research on policies and regulations, laws in other CAMs, and we got together with Jason, and the three of us discussed it. And I think Jason will bring it up to one of DCP's attorney. We would, both Jill and I would like to see more strict and more laws on CAMs. It's very limited right now. I feel it's very limited right now, and it's very vague almost. It's like, depending on who reads it, it's up to for interpretation. So we're really hoping that when I can't remember the attorney's name here, when he presents it to the legislations, that some of it will get passed, but I don't know. It's a long stretch.
I'm hoping you don't mean Reg Babcock, because he has a personal interest.
I don't know who that is.
No.
Okay, good. One of the other. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just saying, a big issue that we see is probably, if I would guess, half of the complaints against the CAM really are not against the CAM. They're really against the board. And the complainant just doesn't understand the dynamics and the fact that the CAM, is contracted by and reports to the board, and we have no authority or jurisdiction over the board whatsoever. So, most of these are just us redirecting them, saying the proper venue for your complaint is the court system.
Would you say that,
that
Jason, and I found that too, you find that most of these complaints really end up in, it's a civil matter? Is that what
that's
you're
where
saying?
we direct them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
another
go ahead.
issue that I want to mention after Jason. Please continue.
No, go ahead.
So there is an inherent conflict of interest that is the industry standard, and the industry standard is that the CAM, all the maintenance or a lot of the maintenance goes through the CAM, and the CAM, even often they're not even getting a bid. They just give a price and they mark it up any way they want, because they're not going in and changing the water heater. They get a sub. And they're already paying themselves. So their hand is in the cookie jar. My firm is probably the only firm where, with my associations, I won't do any of the work because it is a conflict of interest. We get, the CAM is responsible to get outside vendors who are not us. Now, there have been cases where we have stepped in, where we have other bids, but you have to be careful there too, because we're looking at the bids. So it's very easy for us to underbid everyone. So there's really, that's a deeper conversation, but it's frustrating for me because in my case, I'm already being paid to be a CAM. It's not right for me also to make additional money this way. Unless I should be disclosing everything, including my markup. It's the only way that I can see that it's appropriate.
You're absolutely
That was
right.
part of our conversation yesterday as well.
Yeah. The thing is that though, since for years, this has been going on, 25 years, I can say at least, was the fact is that the CAMs were saying that they need to be a contractor. There was no money in it. So if they wanted to keep their fees down from the CAM, okay, let us bid these. Well, obviously, there's a conflict of interest when you're looking at the proposals. And it's been a problem for many, many years.
But if I'm disclosing that here's my cost, my markup is 10%, or whatever I'm disclosing, and you, the customer, the board, can see in real dollars what I'm getting, at least you're making a decision and there's transparency. And by the way, if it was a 10% margin, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't.
I think what's going to happen, Peter, is the fact if the fees are going to go up, the monthly fees are going to go up.
They may, but they're paying either way. By the way, the other thing that I guess now that we're talking about the way it works, also, when there's a project, if we bring in an outside vendor, if we project manage it, we charge a project management fee. If insurance is involved, we charge a fee for running it through insurance and handling that process. So these folks get fees every which way. I don't have a problem with that. As long as they know what they're getting and they understand what they're paying for, and it's very, very clear. Like with the project management, we charge 1%. They don't have to have us project manage it. We'll still manage around it. We'll sell notices. We'll, put up signs. We'll do all the things that we're supposed to do. We'll inspect, but we're not going to project manage it without a project management fee. Or they can hire a contractor to do that. So anyhow, I would like to see greater transparency.
So Jill, what do you see as far as complaints go? Now that we know we have a lot of CAM problems.
I think it really falls on the executive board, because the executive board, many times, in most cases, they're not trained. They come on and they muddle through and try to do what they can, but they're not expertise in any field. And like Peter was saying, most CAMs have a HIC license, but in most cases I see they're hiring their handyman that's a jack of all, master of none, to do work that, in one case we had a staircase that needed to be shored up. So they charged the homeowners like $5,000 just two homeowners to do this. And they never had the building inspector out. They never had, I mean, this is an exterior wood staircase. They did it on their own, and then it turned around like a year later or less than a year later, they had to rip it all down and do it over because they didn't follow the proper channels.
My God. And not only that, we
And then
don't
they have
know
to
that
pay
this,
again.
and we don't know that this subcontractor even had appropriate insurance. God forbid if someone was hurt with a structural element like a staircase.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times we see an owner that lives in the community and they're, you know, maybe retired and they're handy. They know how to wield it, you know, a hammer or something, but they'll hire them to do jobs they really shouldn't be doing.
Well, it's not the department's position though to manage.
No.
We're here for licensing, and
Mhm.
that's the main thing. And license gives us the right to monitor.
Yeah.
But I get, Joe, I'm going to ask you, what about residential complaints? Let's talk complaints about besides CAM. Are there any other that you see?
A lot of the complaints for residential are, you know, it can be disclosure issues. Didn't disclose they were a dual agent, didn't disclose they were an owner, didn't disclose a material fact. Signing people up for, you know, fire brokers for like a year without telling them. I find the big issue is the electronic signing, because nobody is reading. They're just clicking sign because the agent's gone through everything with them and they feel like it's all in there. And then it's like, oops, forgot that. Oops, I forgot to put that in. And now it's already signed. It's too late. So, I mean, I sending a PDF of what's going to be signed ahead of time is a good, that's what I did when I was in the field, because people could open it, read it. When they go to DocuSign, you have two options, you know, sign or review. People are in a rush. They're on their phone. They're not reading it.
Well,
And it's creating a problem.
The market condition, though, has also forced this of the rush. And then we made a mistake. And unfortunately, the more I hear is the fact from the public is that the agent told me to sign this, never even read it, what they were signing. So I can see that can be a concern.
And also waiving away all inspections prior to, you know, just because they want their contract to get signed, their offer to be accepted. So they're saying, well, we're not going to have home inspections. And then you find out that the septic failed and the sellers knew it, or that you have a bigger issue. So that's, and then people come back and
the
say,
the seller's liable, even if he sells. If he was aware of that, he spelled out.
yeah, but that's a civil matter. Now the attorney wants,
correct.
you know, a chunk of money for a retainer, and it costs the consumer. They don't have the money. They don't have it. But a lot of these people are saying, you know, I was advised by my buyer's representation that if I want this house, this is what I have to do. This is what my offer has to look like. And that's
unfortunately, they don't give them the downside. The downside of the story here. Okay.
We've also seen a decent amount of cases revolving around improper advertising.
oh, that's a
Perennial.
a standard.
Yeah.
That's
Yes, advertising without your broker, or, you know, there's new regulations coming out on that in January, I believe.
well, I think, and when we went into the team situation, that even escalated that whole situation at all, as you know.
I do.
Okay. Any other questions we may have for Jason? Thank you.
No problem.
Ben,
All right. Yes.
this is Linda.
Yes, Linda.
I have a request, especially for those of us that are on the phone. Could you have people identify themselves and their role?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we got the continuing education equivalence reviews.
I'm not talking to you. I'm on the phone. No. Okay.
Okay, everybody got, the first one is Jane Carter, I guess. Jill, I got a question for you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you, Ben.
You know, this, we're looking for 9 credits. This is for Spectrum Compliance. Are you familiar with the school?
No, I'm not.
Is this approved school? DCP? Otherwise, we really would have to go through and examine these courses.
Are you looking at Daniel Bernstein?
I'm looking at the,
Which one?
no, not Dan, it's
Carta.
this,
Spectrum Compliance is not a real estate school. At
It's
least
not.
not currently.
okay. So they're looking for getting 9 hours. Is everybody following me here? Last name is Carta, CRTA.
Yeah.
Looking for 9 years for. Do you have a broker's license?
CHFA Spectrum.
That's correct. But the school itself is not on DCP's approved list. So we have never seen these courses.
And I'm not seeing enough information to figure out what this is made out of. I'm getting a little bit, but not enough to really understand the course.
Well, they talked about the CHFA. I mean,
But I don't have a breakdown of how much time was spent on each item.
Jill, did you look at this?
No, I didn't look at it, but I can look at it.
Amy, did you look at this?
No, I have not.
Okay. Somebody should look at these before we even get here. I mean, these
Well,
are questions.
Rochelle reviews those before they come to the
Rochelle
board.
does-
So,
So,
yeah.
so, Rochelle?
Yep.
So this school's Spectrum Compliance is not an approved school by DCP, am I correct?
Correct. That's why it's with you guys to review.
Well, we'd have to review these courses. We just can't say wing it here and just say, yeah, it's accepted. We've
Right,
gone through this.
that's the role of the board, yeah. So, and if it's an approved school, it doesn't need to come to you. The only ones that come to you are the ones that are not approved in Connecticut, so they need the board's review.
My concern is I can't see a syllabus here. I would need a syllabus and some kind
Yeah.
of an idea how much
It's-
time was spent on the topics.
Well, it did say detailed course syllabus. I don't see it, but.
I don't see it.
Yeah. But we still have to. But somebody from the department would have to review it and make sure that it complies. They'd have to get approval first.
Well, no, but this is the whole process. This is the process for people who want the board to give alternate approval for courses that they took that were not previously approved by DCP.
But Jason, we
So-
don't have we don't have the course. We've just got certificates.
Yeah, so I mean, if you don't have enough information, you can deny it. And generally, Rochelle will tell them, hey, we need more information before we could bring this to the board,
Right.
if it's obvious. But if she feels there's enough for you to look at, she'll usually forward it on. But yeah, I mean, that's why these, along with the agenda and everything else, it's sent a week in advance so that you guys have time to review these and certainly come back with any questions if you need stuff before, for us to try and get more information before the meeting.
So this is Jill speaking. I don't think he provided any additional or Jane provided any additional information.
Correct. I
So-
move that we defer it to the next meeting pending additional information.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Did we have a
Well-
second?
Yes, me, Meringue.
Ted,
Cadell.
Ted. All right, so we'll table this till next meeting. Till we get more information. So Rochelle, maybe you can just get back to her and tell her what our problem is.
Yep, I'll let them know.
In addition to a syllabus with time, is there anything else that would be helpful?
Well, the contents of the course, obviously, in detail.
Yeah, detail, that's what we need.
Okay, the next one. Carlton, last name Justin. He's looking for 9 hours also. Rhode Island Association of Realtors. That's their continuing ed. Why are we looking at another state's continuing ed?
Again, they're looking for credit for alternative continuing education.
Yeah,
So this
I-
is something
I-
that wasn't approved in Connecticut, but they took it for their Rhode Island requirements. So they're looking to see if they'll get credit for that.
I have the same issue with this one too. First of all, it's not even continuing ed. Continuing ed in Rhode Island.
So
I make a motion to deny it.
I put in a motion that we defer it till the next one so that we can get more, so that to give them the
But
opportunity
why
to give
are
more
we even
information.
deferring it when the fact is that this continuing ed is Rhode Island's continuing ed, not Connecticut?
Yeah, but that's the legal process here. It states in the law that they can petition this commission to approve CE that they've taken elsewhere. That's not part of our previously approved.
Well, we then defer it because there's nothing here for certificates.
There's a whole, they did provide the slideshow for the courses. Or the PowerPoint, I should say.
Why don't I second the motion so that we can have the discussion?
Discussion?
What's the motion?
To defer.
Yeah, to defer, so for them to have the opportunity to provide additional information.
Well, I guess
Thank you.
I think that, do we have that? Apparently we have a slide.
Yeah, the PowerPoint presentation for each course was provided in that application. So if you keep scrolling down past I think it starts on page 4.
Has anyone looked through the slide presentation?
I have not.
I am not. I didn't realize it was there.
Well, no, I
I see it
didn't.
now.
Well, we need to have more information on this, so
It's 115 pages, so we can't read it right now.
yeah. All right, we'll postpone this till next meeting.
Do we need to vote on it? We have a motion on the floor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, we'll postpone.
Well, I mean, what, I'm sorry, the motion on the floor was to deny, wasn't it?
But
Defer.
defer it.
Or defer? Okay, then I vote yes.
I
mean, looking-
just a, procedural question. Do you need or want these courses for your review further than a week in advance of the meeting?
Thank you.
Yes.
That would be,
I mean, we can't make them send it to us earlier. We'll just tell them it can't be reviewed until, if we don't have it, at least, I don't know, maybe it can't be reviewed until the second meeting after it's been submitted.
If we can have, even just a synopsis or an outline that we can go by, to have 115 pages is a lot to digest here. And probably would have questions to the department. So if there can be an abbreviation version of these courses that we can look at. Everybody
well,
agree?
We can work
Yeah.
on drafting a set of specific requirements of what must be submitted. Because right now it just says, you must submit the course information. It's fairly vague, but we can come up with a specific, you must provide A, B, C, and D,
Yes.
or it won't even be considered.
That'll be very helpful to us.
Okay.
And
We'll probably
once we
reach
have-
out to you like individually unless you have specific requirements right now that you'd like to outline, but we can develop something and maybe come back at the next meeting with a formal proposal of these are the requirements.
Right. And as long as we have that and we're consistent, that's the key thing. Is we want to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is continuing education hardship waiver extension
Bernstein.
request. Everybody have that?
Who
Yeah.
is it, Ben?
Bernstein, correct?
That's correct. I'm requesting a refund of $315. Extra fee I had to pay to renew my license for completing my continuing education late. The reason I completed late was because I had a baby early this year who was in intensive care. This took up a lot of our time and was a huge upset in our lives. I still managed to complete my CE just a little late. I do not think that it's fair or necessary for charging such a fee. Please let me know what you can do about this. Thank you.
I had a question about that. I mean, in the past, we have allowed hardships for family members. How do we know when someone is telling us that they had a family member in the ICU, whether that is accurate or inaccurate?
and can I just say, I have, there are health issues, but we're talking about having 2 years to complete the courses. So I have great empathy, but we have 2 years.
I agree, Sharon.
Plus
My
they can take
concern
it-
is
plus they're taking it in person and they can take it live and they can take it synchronized.
To take them
Okay.
online, I mean, it's not. I guess what I'm saying is all of them that are late, even though they're legitimate hardships, is that reason enough to have 12 hours in 2 years when you could do them online?
It relates to all these requests because all of them are indicating there's a medical problem in the family. And I think it's very hard to take a look at these, and they're all excuses and they're all legitimate. But once you make one exception, are you not putting us in a position of having to continue along that area?
Well,
And
we
that,
have
that's
Joe-
exactly
That's
my,
what Peter
my
said.
concern, yeah, is what Morag said, is in the past, you know, we've seen terrible stories and, you know, we have granted them.
Do anyone want to make a motion?
I move that we accept it.
I'm sorry, that we want,
I move to, that we accept the hardship waiver.
but the heart,
This one, I guess we have to wait for a second. For
Or if we don't
discussion,
get one,
correct?
then we have a different motion. We put out a different motion.
I just have a question. Is this the one, it's not in front of me, I just have notes that the CE has been completed?
Yeah, it's completed. The issue is they had to pay a late fee because their infant was in the ICU.
I have I have a motion. My motion is to deny.
second,
Do not
second,
deny Bernstein.
we have a second from Ted. The motion is to deny. Discussion again? All in favor?
I
Opposed?
Aye.
I'm opposed.
All is an individual, Peter, right?
Yep.
So Ted, are
I'm
you,
just concerned that once we start, the whole list of those that are before us are all medical reasons.
And
And it's
I
very
agree
hard to
with
draw a
you, but
line.
the problem is, Morag, I feel we already have started. So I
Yeah,
agree with
I
you.
get you.
I can see your point, Morag, by the way.
But it's true, I mean, Peter, your comment about the fact if it's family, we have nothing to really to be able to verify what they're saying. I mean, we could require medical statements or from a doctor about, but that's a little hard to get because, you know, a privacy condition. So I don't think we could get that.
But we have
and-
seen applicants provide that. They have provided, in some cases, extensive medical records. And then you're right, we certainly, so maybe that's one of the deciding factors is, you know, someone really demonstrates it to us. It's hard to look away when someone has demonstrated a tough journey.
I guess the other thing which is bearing in my thought was the fact, I mean, about the 2 years. I mean, if they really have 2 years, I mean, I'm sort of that way myself. I wait till the last minute. And then if something comes up, then I'm not going to work. But I don't.
It's a
I
tough
don't-
call. It's a
Yeah,
very
I mean,
tough
2 years-
call because all these are personal and you can relate to them. But then we've got rules and we've got a 2-year period in which to comply.
I mean, if we get on the road of, and maybe we have already, you know, granting some of these. I mean, then it's a question of who can tell us the worst sob story is going to get our vote.
But didn't we up the penalties to avoid this? So that people would comply?
We did increase the penalty, and it was meant to, you know, you try to provide the carrot and the stick, and you know, yeah, it's not foolproof.
We're forgetting that these people come, they're salespeople. And who do these salespeople work for? For brokers. Where are they in assisting these people? I'm not sure who to blame here right now. The fact why this is happening is where's the broker involved? What kind of direction is that helping these people? You know, and reminding them that their license of their continuing ed is due. That's another issue, but it's an issue. So right now, Rochelle, what do we have? How many do we have in favor? Did we count? And how many have we haven't denied?
Just me.
Just the one. It was 6-1.
That's all right, Peter. Stand up for what you believe in, as usual.
Okay, so then we're in favor of the hardship.
Wait a minute, what, Ben, what'd you just say?
We're in
I thought we
favor,
denied-
we're requesting $315 she paid, so we're in favor of it.
Of denying.
Of
Yeah, we
denying.
denied
yes.
it, correct.
Of den-
Denied it.
Denied it.
Yeah.
The next one is the Boris.
Another medical.
Yeah. Everybody read it?
Have my notes. I'm pulling it up again.
But she's had medical bills and other
I
things.
mean, also, quite often they'll point
So
out the fact, the number of years that they've been a broker, which I could get some ways it would be to me that they should really know that they're not gonna, that they have to do it on time.
But did this one have a financial hardship? Is that because of the medical?
She says, please note that during medical leave, my finances were at a standstill. I had medical bills, personal bills piling up. I had to seek state assistance. Please refund $625.
So they paid the $625.
I guess my main concern is that I suppose we've had a lot of licensees that could say that they've had a rough time this last couple of years.
Certainly.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I think the law specifically says that, financial hardship is not an excuse, but I could be mixing it up with other credential types. But I know somewhere it says that.
But in any event, this woman was on leave and has a doctor signed note. So, there was a medical issue for 6 months. And I know that we're going to hear people say she had 2 years, so she still had 18 months that were available. That's true.
I mean, I do feel bad. The fact is that there's just stress on her, I'm sure. But still, there are other licensees, I'm sure it's been very stressful for them. Any other questions or anything? Okay. Ready to make a motion? Motion, please.
You read something? Yeah, you did. It's okay.
Motion to deny.
It's all right.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay.
Is someone trying to make a comment?
No, I think so. I think it's a background.
Just
I'll
just
second it
a
for
reminder
purpose
for
of
those
discussion.
who are on the phone, *6, you can mute yourself and unmute yourself.
Peter, I'm beginning to understand your position even more now.
Yep.
Didn't take long, did it?
Thank God we got a techie person out there. So we're at, we second, any discussion, further discussion to deny? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
You
good
make the
night.
motion and then you vote against it.
I know.
Good night.
You're having a great day, Peter.
Okay, this is Chris Holland. My name is Chris
Yeah,
Holland.
this
I'm
one-
writing, you know,
They weren't a practicing realtor at the time. Um,
Yeah, this one, I don't see any evidence of medical hardship, so I move to deny it.
I
Second.
second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Denied. Donna Huff?
This one, we have approved similar ones. I don't know if, any of you have had a parent with dementia, but I've seen it in my family. It's hard to get anything done. So I'm going to move that we approve this.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, and they provided documentation as well.
There's attached documentation.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
You won one, Peter.
Good to win sometimes.
Hey, you're consistent.
Carol Sessa?
I had I guess they had the wrong email it was sent to.
Who's speaking?
Sharon.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that we had the wrong email address, or GCP did.
They said
Is that what
DCP
they're-
had.
Isn't it up to us to correct it?
Well, even if it was wrong, I mean, they'd have a responsible obligation to,
For them to correct.
yeah.
What about his wife being in rehab under, extenuating circumstances?
Over a long period of time, too.
Correct. So he was, it sounds like he was her primary caregiver, similar to the last case.
Over the last 5 years.
It says she was hospitalized, so he didn't have her at home.
That's correct. Did we check on the email? Did we have it wrong? Was that confirmed? Rochelle, was that confirmed?
I did not double check, but I can check in a second.
But do we
What-
not, as
what-
licensees, are we not the ones who enter it? And every year we're the ones who check it to verify for quality and to correct mistakes? The state doesn't enter that for us.
Right.
I'd just like to know if this has been cleared up.
Realtors should be accepting the responsibility of knowing when the expiration date is.
The email address in their e-license account is not neither of the two emails that are listed. in
Well-
the request, so.
I've got a problem with that. What do you have for the email? Just curious.
It's a Comcast email.
Okay.
Move to deny.
I don't feel we have the evidence of that.
Motion,
I'll second the motion.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first motion. What is
It
the
was mine,
motion?
Ben. I motion to deny the request.
Second,
I'll second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye. Yep.
Okay, denied.
I didn't hear all the votes on that one,
It's denied.
but I didn't hear all the people who voted on it.
Who? The only one,
you only had one no.
Okay, thank you.
okay, Susan Silva? This
I had
individual
a
has,
question.
go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead, Sharon, yeah.
So they don't have their license. They want to know when it's going to be reinstated, and yet they have an offer accepted, and they're not licensed. That's what I read.
I think if you read this, it seems like, I don't know how physically this is possible that she could have a license and put something on the contract all on the same day. It had to be marketed prior to that, having her license renewed.
We should have a motion and a second to discuss it, so I'll move to deny.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, let's discuss it.
This is Silva we're talking about?
Yeah, the motion is, Ted, the motion is to deny it.
Yes.
Which can be rejected.
So I'm a little confused here about her practicing without a license.
That was my concern as well, Ben.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Do we have a motion
what-
sorry.
Yeah, there was a motion to deny it.
It's been
Do we have a
moved and
second?
seconded, Peter.
we have a second also. We're discussing now, Peter.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the motion, what she's asking for is actually different than what she's asking for.
Yeah, this is a request for medical, I mean, for waiver based on medical. But I agree to the fact that if she'd been acting as a broker without license, that's a different matter.
Right, and what other state is she licensed in? She has a reciprocal license in Connecticut, so where's the property located? What state? And
Which is not relative to us.
no, and no, well, it is like, I just have a concern about somebody practicing without an active license.
Unless they're practicing in a different state where they do have a license.
Right.
We said that, but that's not the issue. Why is, I
Yeah.
don't even know why she would bring that up.
Well, I'm concerned that people are voting against this because they are concerned she was acting, as a broker without a license in Connecticut. If it was in some other state,
No.
she was licensed, that's a different story. But- And I don't know whether it's worth deferring until she explains that to us or not.
That's my thought. I feel like I need more information. I can't make a decision either way for myself with
And
the
let's vote
information.
against my motion and put a fresh motion on the floor.
I move that we request
You
additional
can't do that yet.
information.
We've got to clear the motion we've got. We've got to vote against denying. That'll clear the
Okay.
motion, and then we start fresh. So let's now vote on denying, which should be a no vote. Mr. Chairman?
Yes. All right, all in favor
Of denying,
of denying?
no.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
Oppose?
All right.
Yes. Aye.
Yeah,
Aye.
And now it's been,
So now the new motion to
Yes,
uh,
Yep.
to request further information before we make a decision.
second.
well, I think the only thing we should have an outline of what we're gonna be looking for. What are we gonna be looking for? Let's not come back with the same questions.
Um,
I have a property
those-
offer. An offer was accepted on today. So I guess we want some information about the property offer that was accepted today. And our concern is that, was she acting as a broker at that time?
in Connecticut, yeah.
In Connecticut, yes, right.
I need to understand the status of her license.
Yeah,
This is Jill.
Yeah.
Her license is active. She renewed her license. She did not pay a fine. She said she did the CE, and that was on June 13th.
Okay.
She did, or we have proof of that?
Well, I didn't
She's-
look at that, but she said she did it. I'll look at documents to see if she uploaded anything. She has a certificate. No, nothing for 2024. This is all old stuff, so no.
So could we,
So in
So
her
she said-
renewal, she said she did the CE. Of course, it's not mandatory that you upload it. We could request the certificate. But she did renew on that date. I don't know what date this waiver came in.
June
So-
13th is the date on that.
Oh, the date on the waiver is June 13th?
Yep.
Okay, so she had already renewed and she said that she did the CE. So I think in her, I'm on like so many different screens here. So I think she said she did it. Did she say she did it late or she wants the Rhode Island accepted?
Yeah. So if she has an active license, then what we're talking about is the money. And we're talking about a brain aneurysm, a brain tumor, and her husband having a heart attack. That sounds like hardship to me. I don't know that I need anything else now that I've read and understood this.
Yeah. It's
Jill, you
difficult to
said that
understand.
she didn't pay a late fee, right?
Right.
So then there is no
Well, she
waiving of
did,
a-
no, she paid a late fee, but she didn't pay a continuing education late fee. I should verify that.
Oh, okay.
She paid a late fee to renew, but in her renewal, she attested that she said, yes, she did the CE prior to March 1st. So I think what she's doing is she's looking to get the CE for Rhode Island accepted. I mean, in the past, you have accepted only CE that was fair housing, ethics, or not state specific. So some of these complaints, not complaints, waivers have, it's their contract law for Rhode Island. It's, we don't see this one, but one of the other ones, if it's state specific, it's not accepted. We're generally accepting only, in your past, it's been ethics, or, fair housing, or something that, a national recognized course. It's not something
Amarillo.
that's specific to their state. I mean, we can come up with a checklist probably that's pretty easy, and maybe something they can even fill out, because they're not giving enough information here.
It's difficult to even, when you read this, what is she looking for? Now we turn, or we're guessing.
She's looking to waive the late fee for CE.
Let's see, how much is that?
Well, she didn't put it in correctly then. So she renewed
Yeah.
and didn't, she said she did her CE on time, so there's no late fee for the CE in her renewal. Because she said she did it on time, but then in the waiver, she's saying she didn't do it in time and she needs it waived, so.
She'd probably be looking at the 615 or 25, whatever that is,
625, that's right.
625. Or if you go back to the date, I think it would be the 315.
Yeah, after April 30th, it's 625.
So have we already, I guess we passed the motion that we're deferring this, or have we not passed that?
It's on the floor,
Okay.
has not been voted on.
I think we need clarification of exactly what she's looking for.
I don't think we're clear on what information we need.
Just clarification in the letter.
Well,
No,
as Rochelle said, though, it appears that she's looking for the 625. So
She
we have that
hasn't paid,
answer.
yeah, she hasn't
So we
paid the
need-
625, so
So it's the 625 that she's looking for.
okay.
Would-
Do we want to see the certificate or something from the CE that she did take? And then we could go back to the, the medical issue?
Well, we can, let's just move this on, maybe we can move it on. Is by asking her if that, and apparently they have the CE, or they can get the copies of the CE. Make sure that she does have the CE. And the other thing is that whether or not we want to waiver the 625. And then if we go back to why are we waiving the 625? Okay, that's the questions.
Yeah.
Has she answered that? It appears
She
that
did.
she had, her husband had a heart attack. He had the heart attack.
Brain aneurysm and brain
Yeah.
cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
but I think it's the 300 amount, because if you go back to when she put this in, it would have been 300, and I think it's 315.
315.
So she doesn't put an amount in there. She doesn't put an amount in there.
But whether it's 350 or 625, it's dollars we're talking about.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right, Jill?
Yes.
So we should decide if we want to defer this and get more information, or if we want to not defer this and decide now.
Well, we could defer that. I mean, she has a license at this point. But do we have enough information, really? We almost really have enough. How much more is it going to change?
I think we have the information we need.
What's going to change? I think we have enough information on it. Where are we at with the motion here? If we make another motion?
No,
We had a motion.
or withdraw.
To withdraw.
Okay. Since that motion is withdrawn, I make a motion that we accept.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? Okay. So
Ben,
I'm sorry.
sorry, I didn't quite make it, but I have to leave now, okay?
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ted. I think we're all done, Ted. Thank you. Okay, we just got that on the wire. So anyhow, we're accepting the hardship. Okay. I think we've got it all. Double check. I just want to remind everybody too, if you're not going to make a meeting, we don't have that many meetings right now. Our next meeting, I believe, is December. So please let me know ahead of time if you're not going to make it, because having it a few days before the meeting makes it tough. I would appreciate that. All right. So with that, I believe we can adjourn the
And-
meeting. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to know the December date.
Oh, I don't have that handy.
The next meeting is
Rochelle
November
must have it.
6th.
What is it?
November 6th,
That's November 6th. I thought it was December. Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Ben, can you stay on for a second?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I keep asking for hard copies,